I'd like to call to order the North Oakland Transportation Authority Board meeting. Today is Thursday, September 15th, 2016. We're here at the NODA offices in Oakland. Please call the roll.
Bill Dunn.
Here.
Mark Thurber and Drew. Chris Barnett absent. Roberta Houskowski absent. Melvin Kreiderman absent. Bruce Pearson.
Here.
Lori Fisher.
Here.
Mike McDonald.
Here.
Brenda Wilson absent. Joe Young here. Kathy Alvis.
Here.
Ken Van Portley. Ryan Cloutier. Eric Wilson. James Barnhart.
Let's pray respects to the flag. The pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is it seconded? I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The director's report. The highlight of our meeting.
Okay, afternoon. I hope you guys all enjoyed your summer. You had a few months off. It really was a beautiful one. We've been busy here at NODA. Our ride levels in total have been consistent to last year. Generally in the summer, the rides are down, and they have been picking up in September. There are a lot of changes that are coming on very soon in NODA. Our tablets have arrived finally at PC Trans, and we're currently working with our IT department to get the pre-setup issues handled before we implement the transition. They actually just delivered the cabinet to house all the tablets today, so it should be, next week we should be receiving our test tablets. Dispatchers currently do have their mapping system, which will allow them to see the location of the routes, and which makes their job easier. And Verizon Wireless is working with us as well, and they are providing the internet service for our program. Once we're ready to go, we'll have a training session for all employees on how to use the tablets. Then we'll implement them in stages. We're also working with Verizon on a fleet management system to monitor the vehicles. It will not only tell us the location of the vehicles, but it will alert us to any diagnostic issue on that vehicle for safety reasons. It tracks the speed of the vehicle, if the driver is going over posted speed, idle time to manage fuel, alerts if the driver is out of the area, and alerts can be sent to your phone for various settings, detailed reports, and much more. If NODA receives a complaint, we will now have backup to prove the truth, especially if it relates to the speed of the vehicle and whatnot. We'll soon be able to manage our fleet electronically, and it will move NODA into the next big step forward. This is all technology that most transit operations already have, but going from our current paper routes and MapQuest to find directions, this is very exciting. We've also received a grant to have new computers and a server in the office, along with an additional grant for a new phone system. With some luck, this will also become a reality in the near future. I've applied this month for a grant from Home Depot to renovate our offices here. It would include a whole new kitchen area. They would take out the old kitchen area, put in cabinets, top and bottom, a stove, and a new microwave, and so they'll clean this all up. And also we'll replace all the lighting in the office and into LED lights and new ceiling tiles. And they will also go upstairs. We have all of our storage area up there where we have our bins. They're going to build storage units, shelving for us to put those away. And also they're going to have a couple of picnic tables for our drivers outside. So that, the Home Depot representative came out a few weeks ago, really thought this would be a great project. They do a lot of community service projects in the area, and she seemed very excited about the idea that we could get this. So I've put the grant in. It takes about 6 weeks before we hear, but she actually has a tentative date, actually the end of October. It'll take 2 days, and there's 40 volunteers to come out, and we'll do it in 2 days. And all we have to do for NODA is provide lunch. So we provide a nice lunch to them, pay them, and they do everything. Materials get dropped off like the day before, and everything is free, so that would be really exciting. They also promote veterans, so we have 8 of our drivers that are veterans, so that we're going to do a promo, for advertising, which would be great for NODA. For advertising, we'll promote our veteran drivers, and also our board members who are veterans are welcome to come and be part of that, which would be just good publicity for NODA, I think, in general, as well as Home Depot. So that's exciting. Doug and I attended the Mass Transit Conference in Frankenmuth and the Public Transit Authority Conference in August. They were both really informative. We had a lot of good contacts. Tonight we're approving our audit for 2015. It was a clean opinion. We didn't have any findings. Also included in our packet is an adjusted copy of the restructuring of NODA to Act 196 authority that Attorney Robert Davis has prepared for the board to approve. This draft includes all the changes that were sent to me from different communities. If the NODA board approves the authority, it will then go to each of the communities for their individual approval. I've also included the budget adjustments for 2016 and a proposed budget for 2017, which includes our tax rate assessment and formula fundings from the communities. We currently still have a vehicle capital budget of a little over $100,000 for this year, and I am proposing to the board the idea of purchasing a used trolley to be used to take people from the village of Lake Orion to the village of Oxford, potentially up to Myers, to the Legacy Center and back, or an adjusted schedule as the board sees fit. It would be a fixed route that would be available for anyone to use. The round trip would be approximately 30 minutes. I included a budget estimate as an idea. If we ran the trolley May 1st through September 30th for Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., I think that the DDAs of each community, along with the restaurants, businesses, bars, would be excited about the idea of having people dropped off in the villages. Advertising can be done outside of the trolley to help with costs, and possibly the DDAs or chambers can help with us as well. I think it would be good to offer service to all of our residents, giving them a value for the taxes they are paying. Because we currently are just servicing the seniors, disabled, and low income, so if we can also give a service back to all the community residents, I think that would be great. It may also help with our upcoming election in the next few years. There's also an app that you can purchase annually that allow riders to track the trolley real time to see exactly where it's at. So the public can download this app, which you would advertise on the trolley, download this app, and then they can see real time where the trolley is. It's kind of like Uber. It's like they'll know how far away it is, whether they can stay in the in the shop that they're shopping in, or the restaurant for a little longer, so they don't have to sit out and wait. It gives them that. It would also help with parking issues in the villages, as people could potentially park at Myers and be taken into the towns if there's an event. There's also uses for things like our community events and other group trips that we take that we don't have a vehicle big enough for that we could use. The vehicles can be used in the winter, but since the use would probably be lower at first, the suggestion is just to have it open in the summer. We can also have it open for winter events, that are happening in the communities and whatnot. The used trolleys seem to be running about $60,000 or so. I've included an example in the packet. Ideally, we could purchase one before the end of the year and use up our budget that we have this year. We could use it at Christmas time for a trial period and then start it up in May of 2017. Our next meeting is October 20th at the NODA office. Thank you.
I have a comment on the trolley. I believe we should probably try to rent one for 1 year or for one summer, because I'd hate to spend the money on a trolley and have it be a flop. And then it's, what do you do?
Yeah, the rental fee for the trolley is $3,500 a month, and you have to do a minimum of 4 months. So that's a $15,000 investment that you pretty much could lose potentially too, but you have to also be responsible for any repairs, maintenance, insurance on top of that. So that's it's an idea. I don't know. I think a used trolley we'd still be able to get a value for if we. Usually the resale values are are pretty solid with the used trolleys. It seems like the resale is held, pretty strongly as well, but it's obviously up to the board, is that an option?
Any comment on the trolley, or?
It's on the agenda.
No, it's on the agenda.
Okay. Good, trolley pictures. Is there anything on 8 we can do? We can do the financial activity or public health?
Receive and file the director's report.
So we, oh, you did.
Okay, let's do,
Mileage reports maybe?
shall we receive and file the director's report?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Cody, you got a comment? You sure? Shall we just do the financial activity, the informal part, informational part, rather?
Sure.
Can we get that out of the way?
I think we can do bills as long as there's nothing outside the budget, can we, or can we not?
Yeah, we can do those.
There's nothing outside the budget in the bills.
But if he's coming anyway, we can wait on that.
We can talk about restructuring NOVA. The act, rather.
That's good.
Let's just move down to new business. New business 10A, restructuring NOVA Act 96 authority. Lori, you probably have a comment.
I would prefer to table this item pending the outcome of the November election, outcome for RTA.
Is there a particular reason?
I guess I just have some concerns about what position I'm putting our residents in. They are two completely different services, but I would just feel more comfortable moving forward on this item until after I know the outcome of the RTA vote.
The RTA is no service.
Right. But it's at a tremendous cost.
And I do have one comment. I guess we can discuss it because it still has to go back to all of our boards, and it might take a couple, for us, it might take a couple months to get through this, because we have new board members coming on. We have some leaving and new ones coming on, and so.
Are we in any hurry for this? It doesn't seem like we are. I mean, if we did it the first of the year.
Really affect the tax bills for
It shouldn't affect anybody.
2 years from now.
I mean, whether we're, the Act 196 authority isn't going to affect it.
timing wise. You mentioned the timing issue, I was trying to determine if there was.
I don't
Because
think
there would
there-
only be one tax rate, right?
Well, this won't go
It
on
won't.
until 2018 when the
Oh,
millage reruns, so we've got a couple years to play.
Is there a motion to table this
Set
till
aside
we set aside?
until,
I'd like to make that motion.
To set aside until the first of the year? We can discuss it.
Well, at least till November.
Let's do it the first of the year.
We have new board members coming on, so I'd like to present this to them.
And was there a second for that?
we'll be setting aside what date?
First of the year.
December, January?
January, January meeting.
I'll make that second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment, none. Is there a motion to receive and file the monthly rider mileage report?
So moved.
Been moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I guess we'll go into recess. Approval of the financial activity, let's move on to the bills. Is there any questions on the bills? No, we don't have to, all the other bills are paid for the last couple months.
Yes,
Do
I
we have
have,
to approve that?
yes, we do. In the packet, there's two, actually,
Yeah, I see that.
there's a June through July, and there's an August. So there's actually 3 packets because we were not.
Do we just approve the checks, or do we approve all the checks and debit transactions?
The total.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the June and July 2016 checks and debit purchases for $66,567.01. And then additionally, September checks and debits for $22,053.63.
The August.
What about August? And let's throw in August.
Oh, hold on, I missed August. And August checks and debits for $28,490.37.
Been moved,
I'll second.
seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Dunn.
Yes.
Thurber.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Alves.
Yes.
And Young.
Yes.
Move on to 8B, financial activity. Would like to speak on this?
Well, yes, the financial activity through August is in your packet, and it also includes the budget adjustments. I don't know if we want to go through that at this point, or is it?
Later on.
But through August.
Budget adjustments are under G.
Yes.
Oh, you do that later. Through August, we have a net income today of $145,2987, and our balance sheet today, we have our total equity of $1,177,110. That's kind of a general overview of where we're at.
Okay, is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Move on to the audit. Basically, we have a clean audit.
It's clean audit for December 15,
It's all good.
and there's no management items that to report, so it's clean item. And we had a good solid year last year with an increase in our fund balance of $539,383, so it was a good financial year for us.
There are no questions. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Pick one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The formula funding, I believe, is the same as it was before? or-
It is. It's based on half of the percentage is population and half is ridership. And the ridership is from July of 15 to June of 16 by each of the communities. That percentage is then split and then shared and split between 205,000, which is the same base between the communities. So in total, Addison, 2017 portion is 15,871. Orion is 108,020, and Oxford is 81,109.
The change.
The change.
Orion went up $3,632, approximately 3.5% based on the ridership, correct?
Compared to the other two communities. Yeah, Addison went down 744, Oxford went down 2,878.
Okay. So a motion to approve the formula funding for 2017.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Let's do a roll call.
Sure. Dunn.
Yes.
Thurber.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Alves.
Yes.
Young. Yes.
Move on to approval of the 2017 tax rate assessment.
Yes, in your packet, behind the formula funding, there's a millage calculation. And this year we have a headline reduction in each of the communities, so the tax rate the maximum tax rate we're allowed to levy is 0.25 mils. And in my budget, I'm asking for the maximum amount less the headline reduction factors. So for Orion, the reduction factor was 0.2462, Oxford is 0.2456, and Addison is 0.2456 as well. And that totals up to, after we take out the DDA, there's a DDA portion for Orion and Oxford. And Orion Township also has the CIA, which is a new deduction for this year.
We all have that, don't we?
No, just Orion Township is that new
Oh, that's what
corridor,
they-
that
yeah,
corridor
that's
improvement, right. So that, after those two deductions, we net out to $620,539.
I guess motion to proceed with that?
So moved.
I think we actually have to approve the tax rate assessment.
That's why she gave us the reduced.
Okay, okay. We'll do the motion.
I'll make that motion.
You want a second?
Anybody want a second? I'll second.
Well, Laura, you made the motion, right?
Well, somebody else made the motion, so,
Mike, you're approving the motion to the tax rates of the 2456 and 2462, correct?
By each community, right?
And then a second.
I'll second.
pick one.
Lori. You got the Lori.
All right.
Let's do roll call.
Dunn.
Yes.
Thurber.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Elvis.
Yes.
Young. Yes.
Yes.
Done. Sorry, you're done. Sorry about that.
Move on to the budget, 2017.
Can we do a public hearing?
Oh.
Open public hearing?
That's right, I didn't get to it. There's the new sheet.
It was advertised.
Yes.
Is there a motion to go into the public hearing?
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You got anything to say, Cody? Is there a motion to go out of
Public
public hearing?
hearing on which item again?
What's that?
Approval of the 2017 budget.
Anyone for the time?
They got the time.
Okay.
Public hearing is open at 5:17.
Is there a
Public
motion-
hearing on the budget.
is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Support?
Moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Would there be a motion?
On the budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed budget of $1,304,954.03.
Is there any support?
I'll support.
Okay, now is there any discussion? Any questions?
Did, you want to highlight
Any
it
highlights?
in there?
Sure, certainly will. No, for 2017, there's really, the only adjustments in our income is relating to our grant income. We are anticipating to no longer have our JARC urban grant to draw from. This is our last year. We had a large sum that we were able to draw, but this is our last year, so we no longer will have that. But we did receive a New Freedom urban grant of $165,000. So we are seeing a reduction in revenue of about $100,000 relating to the loss of grant revenue. And the only other change from this year is just a slight change in our millage revenue. It went down about $10,000 because of the Headley reduction factor, so that our millage is slightly down. But that's on the income side, those are really the differences. On the expense side, the only adjustments primarily are, we have a slight salary adjustment where I'm asking for a $1 raise for our drivers from $12 to $13. They really, which would put them in the median of what the drivers are being paid in the area. I really think that they are due to have a raise and that they really earn it. They really do a professional job, and I think that they deserve to have that. And they had a 23-cent raise last year, but prior to that, we really hadn't had a raise before the millage. So this is, I think, just getting them caught up to where they think they should be.
What's the percentage on the raise?
It's an 8%,
8%.
7.something%. In total,
33,000?
42,000 in total. And we do, and we do have a fund balance, that's pretty sizable. I think that can accommodate this too as well.
I do have one comment. I give my employees 2% raises, and here we're giving 8% raises. Hard for me to take that back to my township.
I understand we had it budgeted 2% each year, but because of when we did the comparison of what the other communities are doing, I really think that they were being underpaid. So it's more of an adjustment of where I think that they should be in those lines. I don't see going forward that there's going to be large adjustments. I see that like going forward just having small cost of living adjustments from here on out. But there have been many years where they hadn't been receiving raises, and so I think this is more of a...
Well, it's the same with my township. They went several years with no raises at all, and the elected officials accepted no raises. And it's just been recent that we've been accepting 2% raises.
Does anybody know what a school bus driver is paid by the hour? I mean, to me, $13 an hour for a driver does not seem to be an excessive amount. I think that's a lot of responsibility. So even though percentage-wise it's a large increase, from what I'm hearing, you can go to McDonald's and make $15 an hour now. So.
Are you suggesting we give 8% to our employees then?
As I said, I don't know if our employees, or very few of our employees make $13 an hour. To me, a driver, that's a large responsibility. They're part-time, they don't receive benefits. None of them do.
They're all part-time, they're not unionized, they're just...
So,
I tend to agree.
is that correct?
We just have to get a grip on reality, I think is what it boils down to. So
Lynn, are you confident that you're getting the performance from your drivers now, and you expect the same even after a change? You see this more as a catch-up rather than a...
I do. I think it'll help morale around here. I think that a lot of them are very unsettled about it. They've been talking. You can sense that they're feeling like they've been underpaid.
Have we experienced any turnover because of that?
No, we have a lot of drivers that have been with us for many, many years. So they're just good, solid drivers. I just feel that they deserve to have a little correction in their income.
I'd just like to comment, in the village, we did grant $1 raises to our part-time police officers for the past 2 years to get them more in line with the market. So just, the dollar raise an hour is something not just that's being proposed here, but actually...
What's the rate of a police officer?
$15 and $16 an hour for part-time.
That's more like a 6% raise.
Is this what our bus drivers are making in the area?
That's over Michigan.
What is it? I can't read it. Does it say?
That's hourly bus driver's pay stats in Lake Orion. And then...
Is how much? It's
15 to 23 is Michigan.
can you pan down a little bit to the profession similar to school bus drivers?
Is that the bottom?
Now it's after
Can you scroll down, page down?
Yeah, trying. Hang on, we'll stop and move it down.
Well, while we're briefly considering this, I'd like to point out the difference in the total expense from 2016 to 2017. I think that's important too. It's actually down from 2016 projected final.
Yeah, is that expenses or?
Yeah, expenses.
It's everybody's pleasure.
I would just wait until next
Question on also the budget adoption, do we need to do a separate motion on
the 2000.
implementing the salary increases, right?
I would feel more
So we approve
comfortable.
the budget first and then we do the salary
Well,
increases.
you can put it in the budget, but you don't necessarily have to spend it.
No, I understand, that's why I'm asking, would we be looking to also consider a motion to approve the proposed salary increases as presented in the budget?
In the budget.
So you'd like-
Yes, I would like to probably have that, yes.
So my motion at the moment is that we just approve the budget to $1,304,954. There was a second. So
There's a motion and it was seconded, and we're going to discuss.
And the raise is in that motion?
Yes.
It's in the budget. It's in the budget, but it's not approved.
In the grant.
Could be a separate
I would just feel more comfortable with a 4%, 4% raise than an 8%. Because I have to explain that too, I have part-time employees, same thing.
You can do that when we vote on the raise.
Well, then it's already approved.
No, it's not approved, it's in the
But
budget.
the money is in the budget.
The budget does have a contingency of $48,000 as well. I don't know if that's pointed out.
Roll call.
Dunn,
Yes.
Pearson,
No.
Fisher,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Elvis,
Yes.
Young, yes.
Do I get one?
I'm sorry, Mark. And make sure Mark's here on it. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, you're just getting back at me for being loud.
Okay, let's talk about the raises now.
The raises,
Well, freshen up.
I have a sheet in here that shows us the estimated budget for the employees. And it's, again, a dollar raise for the drivers and dispatch from $12 to $13. It's a 7.6 raise. And I'm also asking for a raise for Doug. He is currently earning $35,600 up to $40,000. So that is a $4,400 raise, which I believe is also an adjustment in what I still think he's underpaid at $40,000. He works full-time, he receives no benefits, he's our IT person, our maintenance guy, he's my right-hand person, so I definitely think he's also not underpaid. So I'm asking for him for a salary adjustment from $35,600 to $40,000. And I have in myself, I have a 2% raise built into mine, which is what had been originally estimated for the 5 years in our village. We'd estimated 2% each year for the time that we had our village.
I did check with the county for our budget. It's projected next year at 2.5%
Your budget, okay?
for 17.
Yeah.
Are all of our, or how much, what percentage of our drivers and employees of NODA are from within the service communities?
All of them.
100%.
Yeah. And we have 8 of them are veterans, so they're service people. Most of them are retirees. They work really hard. They do. They're very professional. And they have a lot of responsibility, like you said. And they go over and beyond just transporting people. They go up to the, up to the doors, help them with their wheelchairs, help them with their groceries, make sure they can get into their doctor's appointments. I've really instilled in them to help more than just transportation, to give as much service as we can, because I think it's important.
What's the percentage on the,
It's 2%.
on Doug's?
Doug is 12,
12% raise and 8% raises?
7.6 for the drivers, and just more of a, again, and with Doug is also a wage adjustment. Just with his duties and responsibilities, he has a lot of responsibility.
What are those? I know they're,
Doug is full-time. He is IT, so he's our IT person. He's helped us saves a lot of money just in not having to hire out computer people to deal with our internal issues. Also, he's a mechanic from Smart, so he can do a lot of, he saves us a lot in assessing the vehicles and repairs, knowing where to take them. He knows, if people say one thing, whether to believe them or not, and what needs to be done. He definitely is more than us, actually, but I'm just trying to get him caught up a little. And he receives
How long has the operations manager been with us?
3 years.
3 years, and then, has there been any raises during that time?
He went from 32 to 35, because when we first started on. So he had an adjustment from the previous one because he was doing the extra stuff. So he hired
And we do not pay him any benefits or
No
anything,
benefits
so
at
it's
all.
purely salary.
just
And so you're proposing that we take him to
40,000.
Many people, many
okay,
benefits
then
either.
we've got these new tablets coming in and
He helps with all that and getting those implemented. He's the jack of all trades. He really does a lot around here.
Well, he's from Addison Township in Leonard, so I would expect that's pretty much the
I don't
norm
wanna
for
do
our
it now.
residents, over and above. Right, Bruce?
I'll give them all 12%.
Okay, we'll make a motion to approve the 2017 salary increase budget.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions, comments?
This would be, it's the dollar raise for the drivers, 2% for the staff and director, and the salary $40,000 for the operations manager.
Yes.
Right, all those.
So they get it straight, it's
Starting when?
January 1.
January 1.
12% and 8% for the drivers, right? Or 7.6?
And 2%.
I would just say I'd rather see half of that for each one of them. That's my opinion. That's still more than what I give.
We're going to find out when everybody votes. Roll call.
Dunn,
Yes.
Thurber,
Yes.
Pearson,
No.
Fisher,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Elvis,
Yes.
Young, yes.
We'll run the budget adjustments.
Those are, there's no adjustment on the income for 2016, but there are a few adjustments to 16 on the expense side. We have an increase in our vehicle insurance. It's primarily because we received like 8 new vehicles this year, and we still haven't gotten rid of all of them, so they're still having some insurance on them, until we get them off the lot. And also there's an increase in some insurance, so that went up 16,000. Our workers' comp went up, we had an audit, so we had to pay $800, so that was the increase for that. Other professional services are up 6,000. That is doing some computer renew, getting stuff ready for the tablets to come in and have the computers and servers. We have some work done on that. It also includes our PC Trans software, includes our care program, and the cleaning people. That's what's in that line. So there's an adjustment of $6,000. The legal increase $2,000. That's due to our Act 196 issues that we've been dealing with Attorney Davis. Our rent went up $4,300. That is because we now also use the bus wash through the Orion schools. That's $300 additional a month, which we didn't have originally budgeted. And there was an increase that didn't build into last year's budget that they automatically go into. So that's an increase of $4,300. And there's some minor adjustments with telephones and internet and uniforms. We purchased uniforms for all the employees, which hadn't been done in many, many years. They all got new shirts. So in total, the contingency was affected just $1,200 net, because on the next page, we actually were able to reduce our fuel 30,000 because our costs were down compared to what we anticipated. And our vehicle repairs went down 10,000 because we got some new vehicles, so our estimated amount that we're going to have for this year is down from what we had anticipated. So the net changes in our adjustments is just $1,200. which takes our contingency down from 193,000 down to 192,000.
Question, did you say the audit went up $800 in 1 year?
Yes.
That's pretty steep. Is there some reason for that?
We're gonna look.
It's probably 12%.
Are you being sarcastic? You always do.
At least you can go back and say the day, no.
Make a motion, Bruce.
It's the number that ate 12, right? Better play the lottery. You were saying?
It is higher than I thought, and actually, Joe was asking too about the rate, and checking that rate out and seeing which, I'm gonna look into that too.
I think young too, that's a bit, starting, especially the leap.
Right.
That's pretty significant for something that, I mean, I think it's been fairly routine and stable for many years, so.
We did have a couple of claims, so I think our claims rate had gone up a little bit, because we did have, I think, 3 claims last year, so I think that probably boosted up our rating a little bit, so that's probably what the issue is. So one was in the hospital a few days, we did have a few issues that I think probably boosted it a little bit.
I don't know how that really.
It would be good to have a rationale for the extra expense, at the very least.
Okay, is there any other questions on the budget adjustments?
Board's pleasure.
I'm going to approve the budget amendments as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Done.
Yes.
Thurber.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes on the adjustments.
Fisher.
Yes.
McDonald. Yes. Alves.
Yes.
Young. Yes.
Okay, we've done all the rest. Is there any comments?
Trolley.
Oh, the trolley. You gotta go to that. Any comments on the trolley?
I'd like to see it have a wheelchair lift, is that possible?
Sure, we do have wheelchair lifts available. Yes.
Even if it's just, I've seen them where that they don't really have a lift, it's a lift, but it's more like a stair lift.
Oh,
Something like that, even if it would be a little less expensive,
okay.
or that they would transfer into just a regular seat up there.
I see.
You know, you couldn't do power ones, but
Right, and we do have the service for, we can offer door-to-door, obviously separate if they can't, Did you, is this trolley, I didn't do the individual
It is.
here, it was, we talked about it.
What's
Now,
the reason?
the reason, we have excess funds of a little over $100,000 in our vehicle purchase this year, and I just think that it would be good, I wrote it up in my director's report. Basically, it would be used to transport people from the village of Lake up to the village of Oxford, up maybe out to Myers, the Legacy Center down. I know that Bill thought about possibly even going down to Kmart, and if we did a loop that way, where you could transport all residents, not just our senior disabled low income, but actually give a service to all the residents in the.
There would be no charge?
Well, I had built in $1 a ride, but that's obviously negotiable. I thought we could advertise on the trolley too. There's businesses, restaurants, bars that could advertise, getting businesses up and down, and just running it in summer, like May 1 to September 30th, Thursday, all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like on the weekends, to take people to restaurants, bars, movie theater, just to kind of get people in the downtown area. And then approaching the Chamber of Commerce, the DDAs, to possibly help fund some of this as well, because I think some of the businesses.
I think the bars are.
The bars, right, yes. It just to kind of, and I think it would give notice more of the residents in the community where other people feel they're using it, maybe help with our upcoming election. To say, well, okay, I can see that we do have some service going, even if we're not using it on a day-to-day basis, it can get transported. And the net cost is maybe like $45,000 a year for doing that type of service. You can also use it for special events. We don't currently have, we would have to have a CDL to operate this, because this is bigger than our vehicles, because currently we only operate chauffeur's license. But we do have some drivers that do have the declination of the CDL. But it'd be good for taking to some of the community events that we do. And we currently have to have multiple vehicles, like to go to the Tiger game, we have to have 3 vehicles. This week we could take 1. Community events around, in the community, taking people around, doing things, I think. is-
I've got a lot of questions on this. Is this thing highway worthy? I mean, it looks like it's got benches on it. To go to a Tiger game, is that?
Well, this is an idea, but it's primarily just for the area, but it is highway, it is highway work.
Mark, go ahead.
Well, I don't have an issue with the cost of the trolley, because I think if it wasn't working out for us, we can sell it and recoup most of the money. I do have a cost, or an issue, I guess, with the yearly cost of running it. From the numbers that Lynn put out, it looks like we'd be running it, losing about $20,000 to $30,000 a year. I really love the idea. I think it's great that you're thinking out of the box. But I just don't know if we're ready, I guess, as a community for this. I don't know if it's busy enough. And I'm having a hard time with the loss each year of operating it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate and say that, we just went out for a new millage, and I'm afraid they're going to go, look what they did, they're giving them millage. Now they're going out buying trolleys, and some the people are going to think that. But here they go. What's next?
On the other hand, they could say we're trying to have a service that anyone, all taxpayers, residents can use, where right now, it is restricted to those that qualify. So there's the other side of the
playing
coin.
devil's advocate.
No, I'm just pointing out something on the other side of the coin.
And would the bus be green and white, or blue and
Well, I
gold?
don't know. There's a green and white one that we pulled up. Do you see that top of the one? I think it's the very top of the
Might not
page.
go to Oxford.
Green and white would...
It's at the very
Of
top.
course, the blue and gold are school colors.
That's what I did.
I think it's the very
That's a good
first
idea.
one. at the top.
So, well, I mean, have you painted a whole business case for this thing? Because, I think that the danger zone comes when, with what Bill was saying, is if it does in fact lose money. I mean, if it makes money, then, then you can basically quash any questions about it. Say, look, it's making money. But if it's not, then it's going to be a little bit of a sideshow.
Right, no, and it's true. I mean, I think that it's also a good idea to go into the communities, like the villages, and present the idea to them, see if they think that it's going to be a good thing. I talked to, like Joe, I asked him, would it be possible to take a couple parking spots and designate it for the trolley? So as we pulled in, put a little sign, where the pickup area would be. You ring the bell, people could come and, hop on, and the same in the village in Lake Orion. I think it brings the communities together. I think it would be good business vibe to be able to, transport people between the communities. It's worth a try, and I think if we find it's not working, again, I think we can get our money's worth out of the trolley as long as we purchase it.
How about if we do a little due diligence and approach the chamber and DDAs in both
I'd
communities
be happy to do that.
to see how they would, well, of course the businesses.
And maybe get a sense of if there are some willingness on their part to advertise and support it, other than just say,
But do a
yes,
little
it's a great idea.
Sure, no, I wanted to start here, obviously, and see if the board's interested at all in it, but then, yeah, I definitely would like to approach them.
I'd be interested in getting more information.
Well, I'd like to suggest a motion, I'd offer a motion in there. We authorize our director to pursue funding sources for possibility of having a trolley and bring it back to the board when she has the funding to help justify the operating and cost of that service.
Would that include going to DDAs,
Businesses and
Chamber of Commerce.
Village Lake Orion, chambers?
all the governmental entities, the chamber, all the local businesses and
I can help with some of the local businesses.
For or against them.
I think the businesses would be for it.
Yes.
They might not be for it, donating money, but they'd be for it,
That's my motion.
to get foot traffic. Was there support?
I'll support it.
Been moved and supported, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I've never had this long of a meeting.
I know, sorry, we haven't had a meeting in 3 months.
That's right, we have 3 months worth of work. Public comments, we've done everything else. Board member comments? Any board member comments? Seeing none?
Motion to adjourn?
And support.
Moved and supported, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.